This is Hoodies. Alright, let's do this. Peace. I want to welcome you all back to another dope session of Hoodies the Podcast. I'm the host, the God Rashidi, coming at you live from the Skill Suite. Well, maybe not so live, but we coming at you. Blah, blah. Listen, you know what it is. It's another race against time. So let me go ahead and do this before my next client. So, man, all right. So check it. I was, while I was cutting a few hours ago, I was watching brother Stephen A. Smith's the Stephen A. Smith podcast or whatever. I like Stephen A. Smith. I'm a fan. Yeah, I said fan. I'm a fan of his brand of sports journalism. I'm also a fan of his brand of podcasting. He speaks well, yada, yada, yada. Some people say he be caping for white folk or whatever. They call him a coon. I disagree with that. I think that, see, us black folk, we're very, very fickle, right? We can all be on the same page about something. And then, but if you're not lock in step with, the consensus, you're labeled to sell out, a coon, and some other stuff. I don't necessarily know why we do that to each other, but when one of us thinks differently from the rest of the herd, if you will, then we shun them, label them, and some other shit. I'm not sure why we do that. I'm sure it's deep rooted in some self-hate and some unresolved issues we got and all this other shit. I don't think that. We're not this monolithic group. We don't all think the same. I don't think we should. So I'm just throwing that out there. But anyway, there was something on his podcast. He was making reference to his partner on Mondays and Tuesdays on First Take, Shannon Sharp. He had Sister Monique, the comedian Monique, on his show, and Stephen A. Smith had some things to say about some of the things that she said. If you are aware of Monique, she's had some beef with Netflix. I believe that's been settled. She's had issues with Lee Daniels, Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, Kevin Hart, and various other people. So, in response to that, Stephen A. Smith says that he doesn't necessarily think that that's a good look for us as a people.
And somebody has to say it, so I'm going to say it. It's become problematic for black people. Steve Harvey's a friend. Kevin Hart's a friend. If they came on this show right now and they were talking about Cat Williams in the fashion that Cat Williams talked about them, I would have grilled them. Because when you sit in front of this microphone, in front of this camera, my belief is that in pursuit of truth, you have to be objective. Now, you can be subjective once you receive the truth about how you receive it, how you interpret it, how your perspective is, and what you disseminate to the masses. That's fair. But in pursuit of the truth, the objectivity has to come reigning through. When Steve Harvey came on his show, they said what they wanted to say. When Cedric the Entertainer came on his show, they said what they wanted to say. When Cat Williams came on the show, he said what he wanted to say. When Monique came on the show, she said what she wanted to say. We don't know what level of veracity and truth is attached to any of their words or lack thereof, and we have to be real and authentic in that regard. Monique, she's brilliant. She's an Oscar winner. She's sensational. What she did in Precious, her phenomenal acting career, her comedic genius. Monique, I don't know if anybody said this to you, but I'm going to say this to you, and I'm going to say it to you out of love. You always say sisters or brothers when you're talking to black people. Well, this is a brother talking to you, Monique. You look very bitter. You look like the light has been stripped from you. I don't know what happened. I'm not going to call you a liar or anything like that. I don't know. I never asked Steve Harvey or Kevin Hart or anybody or Tyler Perry or Oprah Winfrey and all of this other stuff. I never asked. I don't know. But I know that you're telling stories about Oprah. I'm not saying false stories. I don't know. But you're telling one thing about Oprah. You're telling another thing about Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry leaves you a voice message reportedly, and you're airing the message. You talked about Kevin Hart and how you were supposed, he said, "I love you, sister. We'll talk in 2 weeks." And then after that, you never heard from him again. Okay. Did you play any role in that? I'm just asking. Did you? I don't know. But when you bring these kind of things up and you talk about Oprah, I'm quite sure Oprah ain't perfect. I'm quite sure there are an abundance of people, black, white, and beyond, that have had issues with things that Oprah has done that have negatively affected them. Does it have to be that bad? Even after all this time? It's just a question. Something that I want you to think about.
Now, granted, it don't make us look the best. However, here's where I'm not in lock and step with Brother Stephen A. Smith, right? Sure, I agree. It does not make us look all that great when black folk are airing out other black folk, airing out grievances on a platform. However, okay, so myself and various other people think that way, right? I'm not going to air this person out. I'm not going to air that business out. I'm not going to say this. I'm not going to say that, because it's not a good look, because it's not a good look for us as black folk. So how do we address it then? When you go to a person, tell them your grievances rather, and all those things, and nothing changes, right? If you scroll down and go to this podcast episode of mine called 10 Percenter, it's in reference to Brother Polite, also known as Michael Noak, who scammed me and a crapload of other black folk, right? Is that tearing black folk down? I don't think so. And not to mention, whether you air it out or not, whether you say anything or not, it's not like people don't know. It's just that I don't know, you don't know, and the average citizen doesn't know all these things. But there's certain people in the industry, there's certain people in that circle who's been done wrong by that person as well. So it's not necessarily a secret. But, okay, so here's another thing I got with that. Here's a thought. How about we just treat each other better? How about you treat people right? Treat people better. How about that? Then you ain't got to worry about the likes of Monique, Cat Williams, or whoever else going on whoever's platform to air you out. You understand? If you do good, when people do speak of you, they'll speak of the good that you do. They'll speak of the good. Problem is, you got big wigs in whatever industry, be it the entertainment industry, barber industry, whatever industry. They get theirs. They got theirs, and they're in a position to put other folk on. There's a lot you can say about folk in power. When people, it tells you a lot about a person when they've got power. How they treat people when they have power. Some people can't handle power. They abuse it. You know what I'm saying? You can never do enough for power hungry people. You understand? You can never do enough for them. There's something to be said about them. Listen, we need to be more patient with each other. You know what I'm saying? When someone looks out for you, you should pay it forward and look out for the next one, and so on and so on. That's the big issue. And see, Brother Stephen A. Smith, I believe that in his heart of hearts, he would probably say the same thing, but won't because of the people that was spoken about. I don't believe. Well, yes, she did. Sister Monique did make mention of Steve Harvey as well, right? Oprah and so on and so forth. Said the Entertainer and Kevin Hart and all these people. See, Stephen A. Smith is cool with these folk. He's cool with them, so he's not going to come out and say certain things like, yo, man, y'all need to treat people. He's not going to say that, and I get it. He doesn't want to ruin his relationship. He may need those relationships further on down the line in his career, right? So his advice was, find another way, Sister Monique. There's got to be another way, and that's not totally wrong. But how about you don't fuck people over? How about that? How about you stop fucking people over? Then because if you don't fuck people over and you treat them right, you treat them with good intention, when they speak of you, it'll be something good. It won't be bad. There's a thought. No disrespect to Stephen A. Smith. I just thought I'd add something to that because sure, it doesn't make us look good. And I don't necessarily agree with the notion that no other race of people does this. I don't even like the way that sounds. So what? So what? We're the only race of people. So what? What's your point? Should we do what other people do? No. Because if that's the case, then we would be practicing group economics like we should, and we aren't. You understand? Shit, while you're at it, we're the only group of people who don't do that. You understand? So that's my take on it. Black folk, we need to be more patient with each other, right? We need to stop taking advantage of each other. And might I add, we need to start using our fucking brains. That would help too. That would help too as far as getting scammed and this, that, and the third. But yeah, that's what I wanted to add. We need to be more patient with one another. And another example of being patient with one another, right, is that I was also scrolling through social media, that I do sometimes when I don't have a client. I'll scroll through past the 10, 15 minutes I got off my feet. And you scroll through and everybody knows something about relationships. And some of them be mad young. And you'll hear them say something and it'll be like, what the fuck? But here's where the patient part comes in at. You got to understand that some of these folk are young. I saw one sister, and y'all may have seen this before. She said something along the lines of when she told her boyfriend, if your social media is not making you money, then you need to delete that shit.
There's no reason for you to have them. Go ahead and delete that for me. Go ahead and log off for me.
Did he delete it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He lucky I let him keep his LinkedIn.
I thought that was kind of crazy, but I had to think back from my past because I ain't always been the dude that I am now. There was a time that I was with a broad who said she didn't want me on Facebook. And yeah, I fought against it and clapped back, but I eventually complied. Yep, I did. I complied. Now imagine if this was back 2008, 9, somewhere around there. Now imagine if podcasting was big like it is now and somebody put a microphone in front of her face. She would have been saying the same thing about me. Just like dude that this young lady's talking about, he's going to come to his senses one day. Because this same young lady, and I'm not going to say nothing negative about her because she's entitled to her opinion, but this same young lady, on her page, I happened to scroll through and saw a couple things. I just thought, shorty's young. She's young and there's still room for her to grow and learn, right? So she said something like, if a man has something against simping, taking orders from a woman.
Because can't no woman tell me what to do. Yeah, because you don't like women.
Now I don't know this young lady. I don't know her background. I don't know if she had a daddy in her life. I don't know if she's tight with her moms or not. I don't know if she's been hurt or not. But it sounds to me like this young lady has to be in control. And, I think some women feel like if they can control things in the relationship, then maybe they can avoid getting hurt. You understand? But this young man at some point is going to open his eyes and realize that today it's social media. Tomorrow is cutting your pubic hairs. Then the day after that, it's something else. It'll never stop. It's important for a man to put his foot down. It's important to put your foot down because women will put their foot down. And I'm not here to turn this into a whole relationship pod. I'm just saying where the patient part comes in that this sister's young. She's young and this is her truth at the moment. and her boyfriend's truth at the moment. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure in the years to come, she may or may not see things differently. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. So I ain't here to talk greasy about nobody. So, she got mad followers, the whole nine. And that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just wanted to come through. And listen, instead of worrying about black folk airing each other out, how about we take some preventative measures and treat people better? Let's treat each other better. You understand? Let's treat each other better. Black men, black women. Let's treat each other better. The youth need us, and we need to set examples. And that's my message today. You know what I'm saying? And that's my message. Word. But yeah, man, got to get back to work. Got to get back to doing my thing, yeah? So, yeah, man, thank you for watching. I'm the guy Rashidi. This is Hoodies, man. Peace. Hey.
Subscribe to this channel.
This is Hoodies.